all heard the stories. We've all heard the legends. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Billy the Kid. But there's a secret history to the Old West. One that seems too strange to be true, but, well, we all know what they say about the truth. Very big ape, very big guns, throwing very big holes, very bad people. I think the world is finally ready to hear the story of the strangest, the most startling Western hero of them all. Six-gun gorilla, long days of vengeance.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Doodle and Chill.
I live for this. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of finale, I will never feel no fear. First the reaper gotta catch me. I don't care who got the next crown. I'm the true and living right now. Thought you lived to see my last breath? Go ahead and put your best down. Run with the wolves and we unify. Hungry enough to eat you alive. We never breaking formation. I live and die for this crew of mine. Been to the bottom, dehumanized. Found my divinity through the fire. Pushed through it all and I stood tall. That's cause a legend can never die. I'm unstoppable. Yeah. Here I come. I'm unstoppable. Yes. When it's done, I'll be the one. I'm unstoppable. Yes. Here I come. Here I come. I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable.
Hello and welcome to Doodle and Chill.
What's up, everybody?
Hope everybody's doing well.
I'm doing well.
Yep, I'm doing fine. I just don't have my webcam today.
I'm not doing so great because my Skyrim is all fucked up because they did an update again.
No.
And so
Really?
now I can't use now I can't use any of my mods. And they updated SKSE, that's the program you need to run Skyrim mods.
Mhm.
And the ones that aren't from the Creation Club. And so somebody updated that, and then they did another update, and now everything's like all screwed up again. So, I could be doing better. I'm doing okay, but
Fun
I get
times.
discombobulated when I can't play my Skyrim.
That's why I use the old version.
Wise choice. Wise
Hmm.
choice.
And today we're going to be talking about this thing.
Yeah.
So what's this thing, Brian?
This thing is.
What's the Zoop thing?
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, the book itself is what people have been asking for. It's what people have been waiting for. I know that a lot of people didn't back the campaigns for issue 7 and issue 8 because they're like, well, I'll just wait for the trade paperback. I'm like, yo, there's probably not going to be another issue unless you back these campaigns. But you know how people are. And that's okay. My campaign still did okay, but this is going to collect issues 1 through 8, which already have been printed and published. But it's also going to add issues 9 and 10, which will then wrap up the entire Long Days of Vengeance saga. The platform is Zoop. And the reason I'm running this campaign on Zoop is because I'm the canary in the coal mine. I'm the guinea pig here. We've been looking at Zoop for a while now, and I figured, fuck it. Let me give it a shot, and then I can report back to my fellow indie creators and crowdfunders.
And I'd like to address one thing while we're at it. Talking about the Zoop thing. I remember on the last stream, like, people were asking you a lot of questions, and I answered in the chat, and I just want to cover it right now.
Please.
So, yes, like they're curated, so you have to submit your project. If you're a big name, they will fulfill for you, but not if you're a small name and going there. They're just technically another Indiegogo. The thing that I want to address is the fact of the 10% that a lot of people are like, but they're taking more than Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Let me explain. It's quite technically they're taking less. Because Indiegogo and Kickstarter are taking like 6 to 7% plus the transaction fees. So the more transaction you have, like people backing, refunding, rebacking, or stuff like that. Like every time there's a transaction, you get a 3.4% from the transaction fee of the credit card and all that sort of the third party. While Zoop take a flat 10%. It says it in there. There's no extra charge. There's no transaction fees. There's no nothing. They don't charge you to send you money for the. No, there's 10%. They take 10%, they send you the money, and that's it. And the fact that they promote you on their social media and YouTube, because I found your video on their YouTube.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, that's where I was playing it from.
Oh, interesting.
And they're also only comic book. Sorry.
Right, and that's the main thing is that they are a crowdfunding platform that focuses exclusively on comics, because Kickstarter and Indiegogo, we're like barely even on their radar, right?
Yeah, they have so many things with video games, movies, all type of like toys and masks and whatever.
Exactly. Think of the San Diego Comic-Con, right? How much of that is about comic books?
Not much.
Little to none, right?
It's more about TV series and some movie.
And
Wannabes has been.
Yeah, and those goddamn motherfucking Funko Pop bobbleheads, which I would like to.
Come on, admit it. You'd like to have a 6-gun gorilla Funko Pop.
Would I? I don't know. No, I think I would like turn that down too, because they released like an Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan the Barbarian, and I was like, nah, I ain't buying that shit.
Oh, dude, the only one that I bought for myself, because I bought one pop.
Yeah,
it's the Bloody Lobo. When I saw the Bloody Lobo at the comic book shop for like 15 something, I'm like, mine.
Like, damn it! Like, crap, I gotta buy it.
Yeah, I gotta buy this. Like, it's Bloody Lobo with his hook in his hand and his blood in his face, like blood splatter everything. And I'm like,
yeah. Ask.
Yeah. So before we continue, I just want to go over the chat. Somehow your first comment has disappeared. I don't see it, Scotsman. So you were the first in the chat, but it's not there anymore.
Woo.
You got Bill Ryder answering you. I'm not gonna read it.
What up, Matt? see Matt chilling, cool man. Aaron Calimari.
Metal.
Sorry, butchered your name.
My Hellzone partner.
Nice.
And what's up, Rand?
What's up, Rand?
Thank you all for joining the stream. I'm gonna get back into doing them a bit more often. Right. When there's a campaign that's there, I want to help promote. It happened. And I'm also going to start doing the some Friday morning ones, since Chris is taking a break from the morning roast.
Yeah,
I'll be doing Friday morning Doodle and Chill, so it's called the Doodle and Chill TGIF edition.
Cool.
Oh.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing the Inktober in there, like doing like one drawing every day for an hour.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's right. October is nearly upon us.
Inktober. Right. So we played the video. You see where it is. Go back it, because it's a great book.
Plus, lately, I mean, like China, Indiegogo has become become asshole. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and look, my
eye on them a little bit.
My campaign got suspended with the funding suspended because somebody found the butt cheeks the butt cheeks of Luani in a video on YouTube.
Oh my God, a nipple! Oh no!
And come on, Nobody went through my freaking video to pinpoint the thing. That was somebody that did it purposely. And,
Absolutely. Yeah, that was fun.
And it was confirmed in the email, so I'm good.
Yeah, that was a gay op for sure.
Mhm.
Look, the thing that's kind of like irritated me, and it's just that it doesn't make me mad. It's kind of irritates me, is that people are like, "Isn't that where Camilla Vaughn went? Didn't they hire like this major SJW?" I'm like, okay, first of all, there's no way that they don't know I'm CG. No way, right? Do you honestly think that they would work with me or anybody without sticking a microscope up our asses and checking out our social media feeds? No, of course not. And if you decide that you don't want to back the book, that's fine, but don't not back it because of that bitch.
Mm-hmm. And Coleman says, always at the end. Did you guys notice that? I know, right? Always to prevent and delay your funding.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, look at what they did to Eric July, what PayPal did to Eric July, where they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna sit on your money for a while so we can like collect on the whatchamacallit,
The interest.
the interest.
Thanks for sharing the link.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, Matt.
And the link is in the description as well.
Indeed.
What's up, Corey? Welcome to the stream, buddy.
Oh, what up, Corey? Good to see you, brother. Looking forward to Kozor, of course.
Now, let's see what we're doing here. Yeah, Beacon doing this.
Oh,
What you doing, Deacon?
I'm. Let me zoom out here real quick. He's hanging on to a church bell tower, firing his gun off.
Oh.
Is he gonna be shooting the second gun with his feet?
Oh, I should have done that.
I know, right? I'm the only one who did that. Fuck.
Yeah.
I know.
You know what? I might have to do another drawing one day and doing the same thing again because, damn, how come nobody's thinking about it?
At one point, I was going to design him with, and if you look at the original sketch that I did, which looks like it was done by a 5-year-old, he has fingerless gloves on his hands and his feet. But then I was like, wait a second, gorillas like knuckle walk through the jungle, so, you know.
But you remember when I did that drawing there where he's just sleeping and shooting with his hands, with his feet too?
Yeah, of course. And the guy,
the first idea,
the bullet hole in his head.
The first idea I had was to make him ride a chariot, right? Mm-hmm. Holding the handles with one hand, shooting with the other hand, shooting with 1 feet, and trying to keep and holding somebody by the by the shirt with the other one. Like, but I'm like, dude, that's for a quick drawing within an hour. I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a little bit more involved.
So now that we saw what Beacon did, let's see what Scotsman's doing. What's up, Scots?
This is awkward.
Yeah, you think?
This is what I'm doing.
Oh, that's so dope.
What's the name of that movie again?
Day of Anger.
Yeah. So it was a cover by Frank McCarthy. And I'm doing an homage to it. 6-Gun Gorilla way.
Yeah, because the spaghetti westerns all had like these really awesome painted movie posters. It's not like today where like everything's just like shoddily thrown together in a cubicle with Photoshop in like 5 minutes.
This is what my layouts look like.
Cool.
I get the main idea, then I just start going.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, like watching you guys work, it kind of reminds me of sculpting in some respects. That you get like you kind of put the whole thing together, and then you start carving little bits off, and touching up.
What's up, El Gargoyle?
What up, El Gargoyle? Good to see you, brother.
Looks rough.
Yeah, it does.
That's how I got my ideas up.
Yep. I mean, shit, you should see the first drafts of some of my scripts. They're pretty bare bones. Usually for me, it's just like I got to get the whole thing out there, That's the most important thing. Get the whole thing out there as fast as possible, and then I go back and touch up.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, because it's a lot easier to work with something than to work with.
But if you try to do something final from the get-go, sometimes you end up with something stiff. You always end up with something you're not happy or something.
Yeah, it's very true.
I try to always have like a rough that, okay, I'm happy with this, then I start fleshing it out, and when I'm happy with what I have there, I start inking.
Well, like one thing I always make sure with my writing is always make sure that I don't start until I have my ending. And that's what I always recommend to my fellow writers, especially people that are just starting out. Always make sure that you have your ending. Now people are like,
Yep.
Go ahead.
It's at the beginning and the end.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the thing is that you want to make sure that you have your end, because it's a lot easier to work your way through a maze backwards than it is forwards. And then people are like, well, doesn't that take away spontaneity? Doesn't that like limit you in some way? I'm like, no, because just because you already have your ending doesn't mean that you have to stick to it. It can change as you're moving along, but everything that's happening should be leading up to that ending, and your ending should always feel surprising but inevitable.
But it's like anything in life. You have to have a point. You have to have a direction. You have to know where you're going in the direction. Right. You have to have an end goal, and sometimes it can change. Sometimes it could be somewhere else. But
absolutely. Dickens changed his endings all the time. The original ending of Great Expectations, for instance, was pretty damn dark, and he went back and he rewrote the ending. And if you read both of those endings back to back, there's no question that the happy ending is what was meant to be. And that's all. And that's the thing when you're creating a work of art, there's always a feeling of, okay, this is how it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Unless you're just throwing shit at the wall, which can be fun sometimes too, and take you in interesting directions. But I kind of feel like I'm over that stage in my development.
So what's next after Six Gun Gorilla?
Oh man, a lot of stuff going on. Just found out. See, I don't know if this is top secret or not. But the thing that I wrote for Adam Lawson has an artist, artist that I've worked with before, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be my first. It's going to be my first horror comic, and it's called Abraxas. It should be about, I'm thinking, like a 80, 90-page graphic novel. And, oh, God, I wish I could give more details about it, but that's coming. Also, eventually, there's going to be the Blood Hunt Doc Salem, Nine Devils with Preston. And then I'm also working right now on the Two-Fisted Comics primer or sampler. Or I guess I'm going to call it Two-Fisted Comics Presents. And that's going to be like a IP dropper. But rather than having like a wraparound story like Phil used for the Lost Pages, which works beautifully, instead I want it to have more of kind of like a Weekly Shonen Jump / heavy metal kind of a feel to it. So you're going to get 10 pages of this story, and then you're going to get 10 pages of that story, and it's going to hop from genre to genre to genre because, science fiction, high fantasy, horror, I love them all. And I've got stories that I want to do in all of those genres. So I'm putting that together right now, putting the scripts together, and then hopefully I'll have the dinero from this current campaign. Well, first of all, got to pay Preston to do the next 2 issues. But if I have a little left over, then I can start hiring people to illustrate the stories that are going to be in the Two-Fisted Comics Presents. I mean, they're going to be like 10, 15-page stories, kind of just to introduce you to the characters and their worlds. What up, Dragon Pisces?
What's up?
El Gargoyle says Jaws is a better movie than a book. I think so is Rosemary's Baby. I think so is The Exorcist, actually. First Blood was one and done before it became Rambo First Blood. Yes.
And I would say the same thing about Christine.
Oh, God, yeah. Because that's when Stephen King was just like snorting mountains of fucking cocaine.
Because the novel is good. So
okay.
the movie is way better.
Way better. Way better. And people were like, oh, it's not faithful enough to the novel. I'm just like, yeah, and that's a bad thing?
Not for this one, to be quite honest. I really like
not
the
at
twist.
all.
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting how John Carpenter's movies age so well? All of them. Like Christine, I used to think was like, fair to middling. And then I watched it again recently and was like, damn, that was tight.
Yep.
Like it was much better than I remembered. Same thing with The Fog.
Yeah, they grow old well because they're usually classical special effects and storytelling, and they just grow old well. And he rarely tries to stick with what's like how can you say era.
Yes.
Current. So they're ageless. They're timeless.
Yes. And that's the kind of storytelling that I'm trying to do too. Because holy shit, the comics are coming out these days. They're already dated.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, technically ever since 2016.
yeah, pretty much. And that's not to say that like Silver Age comics aren't dated, but it's different. Right?
Yeah, but dude, if you go into the Silver Age and you go during the era of the Second World War, they don't age well. Like,
no, they
read
don't.
them, they feel like they're time.
No. The Golden Age comics.
It's something that happened later in the 80s and 90s where they tried to become more of its own thing instead of just being a gimmick, you would say. Like they started having, how can I say, more actual stories and writers.
Well, yeah, they finally started getting writers that read stuff other than comic books.
Because for a while it was just technically gimmicky. Here's a character. Who's the bad guy of the week?
Right. It was very formulaic. And
for a while everything had Hitler or something on it.
Of course. I honestly think that comics, American comics that is, hit their creative peak in the 2000s. I'm talking about, I could be off here, but about somewhere between like 2008, 2014, right? I think the standard of the writing was the highest it had ever been, and the standard for the art also was like the highest that it had ever been.
2016 is also around when all this type of cancel culture and this is too sexy. This is
Yeah, when Frank Cho, I think, did a Spider-Woman cover, and I forget who it was, but another comics professional said, "If I see you near my daughter, I'm going to kill you."
But they went after
no sexy women,
Campbell, everything. Yeah.
Everybody to change the cover, and I remember when that happened, I wrote an essay about exactly that, what we would come to call cancel culture, and I was like, okay, you've got a choice. You can either have like an SJW panel, right? Get like really high ranking Twitter douchebags and have them act as like a censorship board, and you run everything by them. And they'll point out everything that's problematic, and then you can make the changes, right? Or you could cut out the middleman and just hire those very same SJWs to write the comics, which is exactly what they ended up doing.
All to fuck off.
That was what I was saying.
That was how they used to do it. But that's how they used to do it.
That's what I was saying. That's in that essay. But
isn't it funny that they're using the same line that they were complaining when people were saying, yeah, but that's not, if it's not for you, buy something else. Maybe that's more for you. Now they're telling everybody it's not for you.
Yeah, well, you know what? They're right. Oddly enough, they're right. It's just like, do you have to like take our shit, which was for us, and then make it so that it's not for us anymore?
Yeah, because they can't create shit.
Because they can't create shit. They can't build. They can only imitate and tear down.
And that's not saying liberals. We're talking about those type of people.
We're talking about SJWs. I'm a fucking liberal. It's just like, all my Democrat friends, they're just like, you moved to the right. I'm like, I didn't fucking move. I'm exactly where I was before. Y'all are the ones that moved.
Yeah,
right?
It's like I look at where I was politically in high school, and I was like, wait a minute. If anything, I've gone left. I mean,
Yes.
back then I was like, yeah, we shouldn't have gay marriage. Now it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember when freedom of speech was a liberal ideal?
Yeah.
It's not anymore.
And being anti-cancel culture.
Yeah, and it being anti-censorship? No. Now if you're anti-censorship, they will literally call you right-wing. They'll be like, right-wings, free speech absolutists, like fill in the blank. And it's just like, what? But that's where we're at. Now the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, which I used to be a card-carrying member of, they're pro-censorship too. And why? Trump.
Dude, there's
because
elections.
he broke their brains. He broke their brains.
There's provincial election here in Quebec, right?
Yeah.
So the guy that's in the conservative party of Quebec, he's a gay married man, right? And he's like I said, like he's small, like he's not like built or fat or whatever, right? So he's a small, All
right.
So he's been like beating them in polls and stuff like that, right? So now they don't know what to say. They just compared him to Trump. Like that's the only thing they could do is that they pulled out the Trump card, going like he's Trump number 2. And I'm like, seriously, that little gay guy married with his little dog, you're gonna call him Trump too?
For the record, the first American president ever to come out the gate being elected for gay marriage was Donald J. Trump. So let's just dispel that whole horseshit.
Well, he used to be a Democrat, right? Until he wasn't. Well, what always freaked me out was people calling him a fascist. I'm like, wait a second. Like, you actually think that motherfucker has an ideology? He's the most non-ideological character in politics ever. He believes in nothing. Right? But that's the thing, is people don't do their homework. They don't study history. They don't know their history. They get their history from movies and TV. And so when all my liberal friends were losing their minds, I recommended a book by Robert E. Paxton called The Anatomy of Fascism. And I'm like, look, it's 200 pages. It's a good, quick read. Check it out. Do you think they did? No, of course they did.
Dude, it's like
where does the word fascism come from? It comes from the Italian word fascisti, which means to bundle together.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
It used to be a conservative thing to want to support corporation control and company control and stuff like that.
Yes.
And the liberals were like, no corporation. It needs to be more about the people. And now they're the one going, corporations. They can't do whatever they want. You're like, what?
Now the leftists are smashing capitalism, drinking their Starbucks on their iPhone, typing on their MacBook.
Oh my God. One of the things that I keep telling my woke friends, the ones that I still talk to, and there's very few, by the way, is that, okay, if wokeism is such a threat to the establishment, why do you think the establishment has wholeheartedly embraced it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything. It's all about grandstanding and virtue signaling and, to a large degree, fear. I mean, I thought once Trump was gone that maybe my Democrat friends would get their brains back. They haven't. They're still shaking in their boots. Because
they got DeSantis on the horizon along with Trump. So the thing that would absolutely destroy the world would be a Trump-DeSantis ticket and then 8 years of DeSantis. Could you imagine 4 more years of Trump and 8 years of DeSantis? I'd love to end my life around, the twilight years of my days in a situation like that.
And now it's just like, and this is coming too. This is on the way. If the Democrats run Biden again, I'm going to be like, yo, the guy is visibly demented. No, he's not. You're not seeing what you're seeing. The gaslighting is just epic. I mean, I know dementia when I see it. That dude has got it. He's walking around shaking hands with people that aren't there. He's shaking hands with invisible people. It's really, I'm not even joking when I say this. It's elder abuse at this point.
It's sad at that point. It is. It literally is.
And then who are they going to run? Kamala? Jesus Christ, man. She has like negative charisma on the same level as Hillary Clinton.
You mean the Canadian?
Oh, is she a Canuck?
Not yes and no. Like she was born in the U.S., but she grew up here and went to school next where my kids went.
Well, that disqualifies her out right up from the get go.
Yeah, seriously.
No, she was born in the U.S., but she got schooled.
No,
and
I'm
grew
saying
up
that
here.
disqualifies her.
Does it?
Did
Like,
it?
Growing up in Canada.
Well, look.
Balls.
Remember when they had the debates. The stage, there'd never been a debate stage that had that many people on it, right? There were like 12 candidates. It was like the fucking Wu-Tang Clan, okay? That's how many people were on the stage at one point. It was all about cock-blocking Bernie Sanders again. And at the end, Kamala and, I'm sorry, I need to pronounce it correctly, Kamala and Biden weren't even in it anymore. They were like in 5th, 6th place, both of them. And then Obama made the call, and then they consolidated all behind Biden, and that's how they cock-blocked Bernie Sanders again. And now his job is basically to sheep herd people into the Democratic Party.
Yeah, watching Kamala call Joe Biden a racist live on stage.
Yes,
pretty funny. And then watching Tulsi Gabbard destroy her was pretty funny also.
Oh, Tulsi just boom. She was the one that took her right out. Because remember, Kamala was the one who was the anointed one at Martha's Vineyard, right? Martha's Vineyard, that's where all the rich motherfuckers get together, all the rich Democrats get together, and they select the anointed one. And that they're going to put all their money and all their support behind as a candidate for the presidency, and it was her. And Tulsi just boom took her right out in like the first round practically, and she wasn't even in it. Yeah, no, it was great. It was great, and she just can't. She's like one of those people like Hillary Clinton, like fucking cheese. Dick Cheney, who has like negative charisma, right? Like Dick Cheney looks like a Bond villain. When he smiles, he can't smile. He sneers.
Yeah, he's like an American Klaus Schwab.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but Klaus Schwab, very Bond villainy for sure.
You will own nothing and love it.
You will own nothing and love it. Oh, well, what about you? Are you going to own anything? You want to? Yeah, that's the idea. We're going to own everything. You're going to own nothing. And love it, right? Which sounds a lot like, what's his face? Ted Knight from Caddyshack. You'll get nothing and like it. So yeah, no, it's all fucked up, and we're gonna go into a whole new period of insanity. My God, because now it looks like, the FBI have nothing on Trump, which is an indication of how incompetent they are. If you can't find any dirt on that guy, the guy's involved in construction in New York City, and you can't find anything on that dude, damn.
Well,
so they made a martyr of him.
Well,
And
it also says something that it's quite possible that, yeah, he might bend the rules for whatever when he's a land developer or whatever. A lot of business people do that. But if you have the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Justice, and a gaggle of like absolutely bloodthirsty Democrats up your ass and attacking everyone who you've ever shaken hands with, and you can't find anything to indict him on, maybe there is nothing to indict him on.
Maybe he's covered his tracks. But here's the thing: I've discovered what I've learned in life is that a lot of things that you ascribe to, I don't know, malice, are very often actually the result of just stupidity and incompetence. And
but, I mean, having all those intelligence agencies investigating every single breath you've ever taken, and they can't find a thing.
Yeah, that's bad.
I mean, how is that possible?
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Occam's
saying.
razor, dictating that the simplest answer is he hasn't fucking done anything that you can fucking arrest him for.
Yeah.
Or
I
he's
mean,
been
that's-
really good at covering his fucking tracks.
Or yeah, maybe. But those
know?
people are really good at uncovering tracks
Yes, they are.
and getting a pair of his shoes and walking tracks of their own so they can say, look what you did.
Right.
And they can't, and they haven't. Otherwise, they
Right.
would have
Right.
a long time ago.
Right.
So,
And- yeah.
Occam's
So
razor, man, that's what I use.
So because when they raided Mar-a-Lago, it was like, oh great, like now you're making the guy a martyr. So he could say that the intelligence apparatus is against him. He could say that the media as a whole is against him, and he's not lying. It's actually the fucking truth. It's like you fucking
You've given him every
motherfuckers.
opportunity to
Yes.
make himself look innocent.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but dude, what's his name again? The freaking actor guru thing. What's his name? Does YouTube?
Actor
Ah.
guru?
James Lipton,
Nope.
actor studio.
Dude, he's the new Rogan. The name's just escaping me. The guy
I know
from-
who you're talking about. He has the long hair.
Yeah,
Russell Brand.
yeah, Russell Brand. There
Oh
you go.
God.
So now Russell Brand is supposedly a conservative, extreme right.
I know.
And
This
did you
gentle
see-
hippie.
Did you? Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I started with the hippie, the guru type of guy.
Yes.
So the guy's all like love and peace to everybody.
and
Anyways,
based as fuck.
yeah, and he just freaking called out that they found out that the left is funding the right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is what my Democrat
But some
friends-
people from the right, that looks bad. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I tried explaining this to my
That's
Democrat
fine.
friends. I'm like, wait a second. MSNBC, which is the propaganda wing of the Democratic Party, the same way that Fox News is the propaganda wing of the Republican Party, dedicated more time to Trump's empty podium, than they did all of their coverage of Bernie Sanders combined. Now, why were they filming his empty podium? Because they were waiting for him to give a speech. Yeah, they Julian Assange, who right now is being tortured to death for the crime of journalism, was the one who leaked the White House the DNC documents that revealed the Pied Piper strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, where they're like, let's elevate these Pied Piper candidates. Right? Why did Trump end up being the Republican nominee? Because he was the one guy that they figured even Hillary could be.
Yep.
And they were fucking wrong. And they don't accept responsibility for nothing. Instead, Russia. I mean, I watched all my Democrat friends turn into fucking McCarthyites overnight.
Oof.
Russia. And then the narrative kept changing. Right? And they kept moving the goalpost. And I'm just like, wait, but that's not Russia. This is Russia. You can't just suddenly move the goalpost. But no, of course they can. And it's I felt like a lot of them were trying to gaslight me, and then I discovered it's no, they'd been gaslit themselves, and they actually believed this shit.
Yep.
And it's disappointing because they're people that I thought were smarter, and would know better.
Yeah,
But-
I watched some of the smartest people that I know fucking become the dumbest people I've ever met in my entire life
Yeah.
over the last couple years.
Yes.
But I do know that the leftists do use a lot of gaslighting. Because I thought back to some things that my old leftist friends said back when I was starting to find out how leftist they were.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, these people on college campuses are going crazy. And oh no, it's not. It's no different than when we were in college. But no, I can see it. It's definitely going way crazier. It's oh no, it's no different. You're just imagining things. It's oh, they were gaslighting me this whole time.
And I remember I was in college in the 90s when political correctness first became a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I immediately spoke out against it. And I remember there was a guy on my campus who was in my writing class who ran the left paper, the campus left paper, and he asked me to write an editorial or something for it. And I was like, okay. And so I wrote this big tirade against political correctness and how censorship is a right-wing value, not a left-wing value. And that I understand the urge that people have to want to stick a sock in the mouths of people that are saying things that they don't like. But that's the nature of the First Amendment, right? Which is
stopping people from talking and not saying stuff that you don't want. That's the essence of authoritarian.
And that on a college campus, once again, one of the great liberal ideals, being able to ask questions and look at an issue from multiple different angles.
Yep.
Right? And I turned it into him, and he went, "Yeah, I think you should take this to the campus Republican paper." You Nazi. Yes. Yeah. And it was that bad. I remember when I told people that that not only had I read American Psycho, but I thought that it was brilliant. You should have seen the fucking looks I got. Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. And this is before the movie came out, and its reputation was rescued or vindicated, I should say. But yeah, it was insane. It was insane. And what we're seeing now is that on steroids. Because those people that were PC when I was in college, they're teachers now.
Oh, sweet.
And
Perfect.
So the ideology which is basically cultural Marxism. And I'm not even going to say that cultural Marxism as a critical approach to art is completely without value, right? Because, are there political messages from the ruling class in TV shows, in movies, that sort of thing? Absolutely. But they've decided to use it to there's some political shit in that stuff, so we're going to put our ideology in everything now. And if you don't like it, well, and screw art, they don't even... When I see, to me, the most disappointing thing always is seeing artists who are pro-censorship. That always breaks my heart. That always breaks my heart because I'm like, so you like working with fetters?
Yeah, but you'll notice that they usually like the people that are competitors to them, that are doing better than them.
Yep.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah.
It's like I want people to appreciate me like you, so I hate you, you bigot.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not gonna go super detailed because I got to do some coloring work. But there you go. There's a.
Oh, bitchin'. Oh, that looks great, dude.
That's cool.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh that looks dope, dude. I'm digging that.
Rope.
See, another one that missed the opportunity to give him a gun in the other feet.
I didn't. I thought about it, but I'm like, oh, you're gonna be like, oh, now look at this guy.
No, I want more people to do it, you dick.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that you're going to see in issues 9 and 10 of Six Gun Gorilla: Long Days Without Vengeance. You're going to see him go full gorilla, and you're going to see him swinging around and doing a lot of shit with his hands and his hand-like feet. Dude, you just did that?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Remember, this isn't for Sim. It's not called Doodle and Chill. It's called Sequential.
Amazing.
Remember that.
Amazing. Yeah, and remember, I'm a guy that can't draw a straight line with a ruler. So I look at what you guys do, and it's like mystical. Not that I wasn't.
I remember you reacting when I said I don't use rulers. I rarely use rulers. You're like,
yeah.
Fuck.
F you, mother effer.
Yeah, as his inker, I can attest to that.
Oh snap! Oh snap! But you know what? I don't like rulered art. I like art that's a little rough around the edges. That gives it more character.
It's one of the things that I've noticed. It's you could try and give it texture, but if your lines are too straight on buildings or whatever, cars or something like that in the back, it kind of clashes with the character drawings.
It does. It does. It's kind of like when you are watching a hand-drawn animated movie and there's a computer model in it. Even though that then is drawn over, it's okay, right? Because when you're using it for non-organic things like cars or zeppelins or whatever, that's fine. But it's not that you don't notice it, and you see that it's a cheap workaround. And I can always let it pass, right? I mean, we've been seeing that as far back as like the old Batman animated series. They used.
I know this might be controversial, but it's one of the reasons why I like Mitch Breitweiser's artwork.
That's okay. You can say that. Look,
I loved Red Rooster. I did. He's a fucking piece of shit for lying about it all, but I loved the book.
You can love the art and not love the artist.
And
that's another thing people can't do these days.
Yep.
Brian, and I got the whole series for like under $10 at Walmart.
You know what's interesting? I'm not a collector. I've always been a reader. Why did I buy back issues of Daredevil and every appearance of the Punisher before the Punisher was cool, I might add? It's because I wanted to read those stories.
Yeah.
If I could have got them just reprints off the shelf, I would have been happy to have done that. I'm not a collector.
To be fair, though, I did have to peel the $1.99 price sticker off the cover very carefully because Walmart doesn't care.
Oh, that's wow.
But
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's like people that don't understand the subculture, and unfortunately, that's what it is. It's a subculture rather than a culture, right? I gave one of my best friends. I gave him like the new 6-gun, right? Bagged and boarded. And what did he do? He just took it out and threw the bag and board away, right? Because he doesn't care. He's not a collector. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? But I had to have somebody. I think it was Preston, and maybe Preston and Sim, who explained to me that what Mitch Breitweiser did was doing his backers dirty, because I didn't understand it. I had to have it explained to me.
Yeah.
And
technically making your book available to the entire world except your backers, when they should have priority. I'm sorry, like at least send them like a digital or something, or send them like hey, here's your package with a copy of each floppy with it. So technically, the people at Walmart got the first fucking printing.
Yeah, we had a business partner who like screwed us and stuff. Come on, dude, that is the most tired trope you could ever have. Like,
yes,
years after the fact, you're gonna blame it on a business partner who screwed you over, and you ran a campaign to run the numbers up so that Walmart would go, hey, there's something here, and then got in bed with the biggest retailer on the planet Earth. Which I remember because I've dealt with Walmart, because my company, we sell consumer products to them. They are as ruthless as it can get when it comes to pricing. When it comes to like whenever stuff doesn't sell, they come back and you're paying the difference.
That's why I've never shopped in one. I've never shopped in one.
You make them whole. If they lose money, you make them whole. And if your comic books ain't selling, guess what? You're going to buy all that inventory back from them. So there you go. Good job.
Right.
Which if I'm totally serious when I say this, if he had remained faithful to the fans who paid all that money to him, if he had fulfilled that campaign and the quality of the art came through the way it did now, and all the people who've gotten their packages, who've opened them up, and all the extras they threw in, if that was the actual campaign delivered on time, without all that Walmart bullshit, he would be a fucking rock star in CG right now. He would be a rock star.
Yep.
He would be on par with anyone else at the top of all the campaigns. And that is without dispute in my mind, completely.
No, I totally agree. And here's the other thing too. If you fuck up like that, and it was an accident, right? Then you have to make it right.
But it wasn't an accident.
But it wasn't an accident.
That's the problem.
That's the
He
problem.
knew
right.
exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, shifty.
Because, dude, I haven't dealt with Walmart, but I've dealt with other companies, and I can tell you, any companies that come to you for a product, they want priority.
Of course.
So as soon as he mentioned Walmart, me and Scotland, we looked at each other like, that's not going to be good, because they're going to want like the first printing. It's going to have to be out before that. Like we both knew what the fuck is going on. We're like, nope. Oh boy.
Oh man.
People are not going to be happy, because Walmart won't go for sloppy seconds.
Yeah, I've met
Which
with
makes no
Walmart
sense to
buyers.
me.
I know how they are.
And me, I know that because I've dealt with Couche-Tard, which is a huge company that owns 7-Eleven, and it's called MAC in the U.S. MAC, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge company, and it's from Quebec. It's from here, and it's worldwide. But there's a lot of people that dealt with them, like L'été Taclac and a whole bunch of like other creators, and they had like, and they're very shrewd. They don't fuck around, and they own a part of it usually sometimes, and they can do whatever they want. Like if they screwed over a few people, like big companies, like they're not there to be your friend. They're there to make money. So if you're not careful and worry about it, they'll screw you over and change things in the contract or something at the last minute.
Yeah, no, they're shady. There's, Walmart's notoriously shady. I've never bought anything in a Walmart. I walked into a Walmart when they built one in my area. Fortunately, it was a small one, right? Because the way that Walmart operates is they're kind of like the tall man and Phantasm. They'll build one Walmart on one part of town and another one on the other side of town, and they drive all of the local businesses out of business, and then they close down one of the Walmarts, and the one that's left becomes the store. I'm going to the store because that's literally the only place you can buy shit. Now, my question is, did Walmart ever sell comics?
Yeah.
Yep.
They did.
Yeah, they've had some. They had a special deal with the DC and Marvel for a while, where they were holding a few things. But they also had a deal where they had Ubisoft. So they've had like all the comic books that the Ubisoft publish for their video games. Like yeah. So everything went out there, like the Assassin's Creed stuff and stuff. And, yeah. So they've had comics, but they had more of like you could say the European aspect of it, with some supersized comic from Marvel and DC, like. And they had a special deal not too long ago where they were selling like collector's edition. Like technically they did the supersize again, where you have an issue of Superman, an issue of Batman, and a giant size thing for like $2.99 or something at Walmart.
Right. Well, I mean, I hate to belabor the subject, but we all know that when the Avengers came out, if Marvel had nice, cheap, affordable reprints of old comics at the supermarket checkout lanes, it would have blown up. It would have blown up so huge. You'd have a whole new generation of comic book readers. I'm just grateful that manga is as popular as it is. So you've got like a whole new generation that's coming up. They're not reading American comics, but they're reading Japanese comics, but at least they're reading comics.
Both my kids. Both
there you
my
go.
kids are part Japanese too. So.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So at least manga. I mean, you go to your local bookstore and there's like one set of shelves for American comics, and everything's all fucking mixed up, and then row after row after row of manga. And so it makes me happy that, like, okay, at least they are getting the concept of comic books, right? Because one of the things that I found really interesting when I published the first issue of Six Gun, I remember giving a copy to a friend of mine, and she couldn't make heads or tails of it. She just had it in her hands, and she was like she didn't know where your eye is supposed to go. She didn't know how to read a comic book. I know that, and then I said, it's like, you don't know how to read a comic book, do you? And she got mad, and she was like, it's like, what, do you think I'm an idiot? I'm like, no, you're just unfamiliar with the medium. And if you grow up reading comics, it's a second nature. But if you've never read a comic book before and you're suddenly given one, especially one that's not done in, the 70s style where there's an opening narration that tells you like the history of the character, and if you're doing a show don't tell, like I was, it can be baffling. So at least you have people that are coming up with growing up reading comics
with comics Lexia. Got it.
Comics Lexia. Yeah. Yeah, and they might be, exactly, and I'm sure, a lot of them will, pick up something like this and be like, wait a second, is this story being told backwards? There are some weebs like that where they actually think like all comics are meant to be read Japanese style, and they're completely baffled by like American and French comics. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that Preston had a great idea with the dollar stores.
Mm-hmm.
If we had nice, cheap, affordable comics that weren't $5 for 18 pages, hasn't like the page count shrunk? Right, it was 24, then it was 21. And I think
it's still 24 pages, but you only get 12 pages of comics in the mainstream comics.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, and the rest is all like advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, it's one of the things that I've been thinking about. It's like, hey, what if we tried to do like quick early release of black and whites and then release the full colored edition? Because I'm just looking at all those mangas, dude.
Yeah.
Sells, and it's about like getting them out fast, right?
Yep.
And everybody likes to see like colors after anyway. So I'm like,
That's the other thing that's really actually encouraging when you stop and think about it. Not only do you have a generation of kids coming up reading comic books, they're reading black and white comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So then black and white's not as much of a hard sell as it used to be. Like I always say, I wanted to do Six Gun as a black and white comic. But at that point, this was like 8 years ago, it was just way too much of a hard sell. Nowadays, it would be way more possible.
Mm-hmm. And there's also
So
like,
Planet
another
69
thing.
is going to be black and white. Okay, close this down.
Somebody got offended.
Oh snap!
No, somebody just had his calendar open up. What are you talking about? I'm not offended at all.
It doesn't stop the coloring production if I release a black and white first.
Oh,
No, it doesn't.
I'm
No,
not
it
a
doesn't.
colorist though. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking of something like with the last issue of Six Gun. Look, whenever I get pencils from the artists I'm working with, I always have the same reaction. I'm like, can we just kind of print this, right? Because it looks so beautiful. It's just like I don't want to touch it or have anybody else touch it. But then Ollie came in and did these wonderful colors that preserved every single bit of Preston's line work. Because before that, I was thinking I wanted to release a black and white edition that would be like the artist's cut.
Now
Right?
I am offended because I am an inker. Let me tell you, everybody who says, "Oh, those pencils are so tight they can just go to print," no, they fucking can't. Sorry,
Preston's
you
good.
can't.
See what I was
Preston's good.
telling you, Brian?
No, his pencils are sure any pencil can go to print, but
Yes.
it is not suitable for black and white line art unless it's been inked, because pencil lines break up in print. They get lighter. Dot gain isn't able to capture all the finite detail. It turns into a dot screen. That's the whole reason that's the whole reason artwork is inked for newspaper print anyway, is because pencil is not suitable for print. The only reason that you can print any pencil work nowadays is because of the advancements in printing. That's it.
Right.
It still isn't
But now we have
suitable.
those advancements
Can
in
you do
printing.
it? Yes. It's just like Jurassic Park. You know, you can make dinosaurs from frog and amber DNA caught by mosquitoes, but maybe you shouldn't.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Right.
You should ink your pencils. And it's not just because I'm an inker. It's because I've been in printing too, and I know what a pain in the ass it is to print things that are not suitable for print, that are too light.
Right. Right.
That's
Well,
just,
I mean,
you
what
know,
Preston did
that's my
was
48 cents.
he sort of inked it in pencil, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too, is with the advent of digital art, there's so many artists, you know, like Sim above, who are drawing with the G pen, who are drawing and inking simultaneously.
Right.
So, you know, they're kind of combining the output. Whereas I can tell you that when I ink Sim, I bring a whole other dimension to his art, and
That's true.
I'm pretty sure he'll back me up on this.
Beacon's done beautiful stuff.
Motherfucker.
Usually I would, but
again, pal. See if I ever ink your stuff again.
usually I would have jumped on it and go, hell yeah. But after those two little puns there, I'm like, I'm gonna let him marinate for a few seconds. Just a few seconds.
Let him stew.
Did you hear that Canadian bus with a big red maple leaf on it running on fucking on maple syrup just drive right over me? Boop boop. Sorry, eh? That's what that was. That's what that was.
Yeah, he's a great inker, and that's the reason why I don't complain when he changes stuff in my stuff, when he tweaks it.
Man, it's rough.
Well,
It's rough.
and that's the thing. It's like you never want your work to be so precious that you're gonna take issue with somebody changing it in some way. I mean, I know that most pencilers, they have a specific inker that they like to work with. They have a specific colorist that they like to work with.
Yeah, they're teams for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, and you think about like what for me will always be the team supreme was John Byrne and Terry Austin, Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. Holy shit, right? It's like their work never looks as good as when it's inked by those dudes.
Well, you like Scott Williams and Jim Lee.
There you go.
Mark Silvestri and Matt Banning.
There you go.
You know, those are team ups that are like legendary.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yeah.
Me
you know,
and Sim.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I know.
Like the
Artist,
me
artist, and Tracer. You guys have seen Chasing Amy, right?
Yeah, I have. Jason Lee can forever die in a hole for that.
Yeah, and you can trust us. We've done that joke to him many times.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a hilarious part of that movie. It's like, oh, so you're a tracer.
I'm the guy who draws it to sign my comic.
I think the base of it is pretty well there.
Oh my god, dude, that's fucking fantastic! Holy shit, I love that.
Thank you,
bruh. This one of the things I definitely want to do also is, as the campaign for the book gets further, I want to make the book fatter. I know people like tchotchkes and that sort of a thing, but the thing that always makes me happy is when I get more comic. Right up to your face and dissed you, but
so my anchor seems to be offended.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Tough titty.
I have no opinion on the matter.
I was gonna ask you, if you would maybe like to ink that piece when I'm done doing the 6-gun gorilla thing.
That would be so tight.
Or it's either he wants to, or I start inking it right away. It's either I
you
finish
mean you want me to
penciling.
trace it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, trace it. Yeah.
Here's an example. Here's a drawing by Vinny Tardamella.
Right.
Okay?
Beautiful.
His Psylocke drawing.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful drawing. This was a 72 DPI image that he gave me. It is quite literally low res and very loose.
Gotcha.
Here are my inks on it.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
And now it's a 600 DPI, like high res print that you can make.
Right.
So
ugly.
it's not tracing. It's very much not tracing.
We know this. We just, got to bust balls. It's a good way to bust an inker's balls.
Very much not tracing.
No, not at all.
That's traces.
There it is, back.
So compare.
But that's the
compare.
thing. It's like we all know what your Achilles heel
Not
is. If we want to fuck with you,
tracing.
we know what to say.
Not tracing. Say it with me.
Yep.
Not tracing.
Yep.
I don't know. It looks pretty much similar to me.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, you cleaned it up a little.
Yeah. Just a touch. Just a touch. I mean, see, the thing is
Just one PP touch.
good structure, good pencils, good draftsmanship lead to good inks.
Yep.
It starts with the source material, which is the pencil. If the artist isn't good, the inker can do a lot, but if it's not good, it's not good.
Yeah.
So is that why your inks look so good on my shit?
And they do.
This is an A plus B equation, Sim, and you figured it out.
Oh, where's the Frog G campaign at right now? Since I was mentioning Inky, have those guys cracked 10K yet?
And here's the
I
latest.
don't know.
Hope so.
Haven't been following it.
This is the Scotsman inking the Hellzone cover.
Metal. That's awesome. Oh my god. That's so badass. Oh man, when can we look forward to Hellzone being launched?
Pretty soon after this, probably at the same time or after the second chance campaign of Tales from the Universe 2.
Excellent.
I'm already halfway done.
Coolness. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. This weekend I need to do layouts for something else, and I have to finish another page for another project I'm working on there. There's one page I want to. But next week I'm going back to Hellzone.
Nice.
Right now I think I'm up to the 5th page. I think on the dwarf story.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
See this.
Now I'm getting to the action, so I'm all like excited. I'm gonna have fun there.
Oh man, yeah, you are.
We just have to sit down and figure out the final design of that freaking bird.
Oh right, yeah. I think what you got is pretty good. It's I'll talk about it later.
Mm-hmm. But the basic thing that I put there, you like it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make it with more claws and push it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Kick ass.
So his beacon's a 6-gun gorilla.
Cute.
Yeah, just doing my collars by layers.
Nice.
Painted layers there. Making a bullet ripping through his poncho and hitting the bell.
What?
Yeah.
That's like your genius idea right there. That's so cool.
Thanks.
Oh man. Be right back. Gotta get
And here's the sample of
recaffeinated.
Murdered All with the extra page of colors.
Yeah.
Beacon nailing it.
Yeah.
So what you showing right now? Oh, you're trying to show off. Okay, there you go. My line plus your line. That's tracing. Now you can't say I sent you a 72, resolution.
No.
Nah. You ink my shit real good.
I mean,
yeah, I don't zoom in as much as you do.
I did kind of build out that tool belt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a healer? Is that what she is?
She's a medic.
That's why she has that medic.
She's a military medic. Yeah.
Got it.
Like that drawing is like the first concept art I did of them, and that we decided to keep as the cover. Essentially, the concept art of the entire thing. First time I drew them.
Yeah. I like this dude a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I'm not going to say nothing.
What are you laughing at?
I'm sure you can figure it out. But yeah, people, go back to Gun Gorilla.
Figure it out. I'm not figuring it out.
I don't know. What happens to all the characters you like?
Oh God. Rip that guy. Shit.
Is there another character you like?
Every character I like dies. God damn it. It's a meme at this point.
Why do you think I just started laughing when you said it? What do you like that guy?
I would say I treat my characters you like better than Sim does, but I realize that's a lie. I was like, oh wait, you like that? Oh no, he's dead soon.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, sorry.
No,
about
never
that
mind.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Oops. That guy. Oh yeah, that guy too. Oops.
I remember you going, oh dude, I really like those 3 characters. Motherfucker.
You know what? I gotta finish one of these days. I gotta finish this thing.
What thing?
Ooh. This was drawn by Rob Willis. He sent me a high res of it like last year or something. I just haven't finished it. But he had a bunch of people coloring it. Oh, where's the OG? There it is. There it is.
Okay, so you're just coloring that one. You're not tracing it, inking it.
No, he already inked it. Fucker. That's an awesome drawing, though. It's a Spidey fucking riding the Juggernaut with a cowboy hat. It's really cool. Well, yeah, this was about 90% done. Just needed to render Spidey in his hat, I think, and a little bit of texture on the columns. But
yo, that's a great looking Juggy.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Rob Willis drew it, and like he sent me a high res, so this is like last year sometime.
You inked this?
No, he inked it. I'm just coloring it.
Oh, okay. It's fucking sweet, dude.
Yeah.
That looks amazing. You do amazing work. Beacon does amazing work. Inky does amazing work. There's so much talent in this scene, man. So much talent.
Yeah, I gotta get around to finishing this one day, though.
Yeah, save this.
Yeah, I mean, are you used to like hopping around from like one project to another? Do you find that kind of keeps you fresh?
Yeah, I got to. Otherwise, I'll get like really, I don't know, really frustrated if I'm stuck on like just caught in a rut for a while.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way with my writing too. I find that if I have like another story to jump into, I'll be like, okay, let me just work on this, right? Because I don't want to not be working, right?
Yeah.
I want to be turning out like a couple of pages every day if I can. But if I'm feeling stymied by one project, then I got something else I could jump into, and then that makes me kind of like fresh for the main thing that I'm working on.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let's see here.
Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, and Sim, have you watched Abominable yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Yeah, that's next week's CG horror movie club movie, Abominable. Rear Window with a Sasquatch monster.
There you go. This is pretty much where I would either start inking it.
Dude, what the fuck? Holy shit, dude! You threw that together in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Oh, dude, that's so dope.
Yeah, I can lay out and rough pencil shit pretty goddamn fast.
Badass. And Ray and I were talking recently just last week about the Man Dog 6-Gun Gorilla crossover, and we're gonna do it like the Batman and Spawn and Batman. Like he's gonna write one issue, I'm gonna write the second, but it's gonna be one story.
This is page 4 from my manga.
Oh wow, it's like old school, like Robotech style.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe that it starts with layouts by me.
Oh God, though, I see I can see boobies on the right, and then I see like buttocks on the left. Triggered.
Yeah,
it's very triggering.
A little bit of all that.
That's now we all know that these days fantasy art is supposed to be realistic, right? With the uniboob and all that, because that's very realistic. But I'm surprised that they're not up manga's ass for like making women with like eyes.
They try.
Oh, they are. They are like that. Yeah, but there was a big message in the Japanese manga from all their bosses and stuff like that sent them a message. Like they shared it around like on Twitter and Facebook, where they had a message going, "Don't worry about it. There's a lot of people that's gonna give you shit. They've been harassed about the big eyes, the size of tits, the ass, and stuff like that." Yeah. And the manga, like, just don't bother with it. Just keep going.
Thank you. Yeah. Fucking basic fucking common sense. If the American comic industry had just done that exact same fucking thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, instead they'd let fucking Twitter write all their comics. And all that shitty Tumblr art that they use these days. God damn, man, I hate that crap. It's just ugly to look at.
So this is page 1, Brian. So the space scene, all narrative. The narrator explaining where the home planet of this story is at. It's binary sun system and all that.
It's binary? It's not non-binary?
2 stars.
2 stars.
Nice. One and an orange one.
Are they fluid though? Are they like planetary?
They're firmly fluidity. Male and female stars. There's no ambiguity. That would be non-binary stars then, but they are binary stars.
It's such a fun thought experiment, like trying to think like them and apply their logic to like everything. This looks great, dude.
This is more inspired by Robotech Macross style.
Clearly. Yeah, no, we can see where your heart's at. Yeah.
Oh, this is my wheelhouse. This is where I grew into anime and manga.
Right.
Daughter of the main character running in the rain.
He made me watch every episode.
That's right, motherfucker.
I remember that came out when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, dude. I watched Robotech every morning before school in 1st grade.
Wow.
I am now 46.
Wow.
And he still does.
And I still do.
That's awesome. That's what art's for, man.
She's running to their warrior academy, this pyramidal structure here. Her father's meditating down in the practice area. She reaches out to him telepathically. He gets mad at her. She comes in. He
so this reads from left to right.
Yeah, it's Western style. Hey.
Okay.
My capture card likes to blink out. He's basically scolding her here, and like he sees she's upset. So rare moment from a very, very buttoned down conservative guy who doesn't show that emotion, hugs his daughter. Kind of reminds me of me and my daughter. Then you got like the super uber hero character, the guy who's like, he's the guy who wants the ball. He's the guy who's gonna save everyone. That anime trope.
Right.
These two are brother and sister. She's his older sister. He's basically saying, well, if it were up to me, I would have beaten him in 3 moves. That's kind of.
Well, he does have kind of like a little, like he's kind of like a manga Zabka.
Well, what I've done is I've taken kind of the iconic hairstyle of Roy Fokker, like that senpai character.
Yes.
Changed it a little bit, so it's inspired by him. And that's kind of his archetype. The older, like he thinks he's thinks he's better than everybody, but not in an arrogant way. He just feels like he is,
right?
Because he's the oldest of the group,
right?
So he's naturally their protector, and then they're coming to kneel in front of their master and receive their very first sword and get promoted to become warriors. So
badass.
Yeah. So this is kind of the not the prologue of the story, but it's kind of like the little bit of world building, little bit of character development, and then everything goes to shit. So anyway,
which is always the best part of the story, I think. It's
Brian, when I say every time I read it, I go, wow, I shouldn't have wrote that.
Right? Because they're just so mean to your characters, right?
It's
bad.
Well, yeah. There's no other way to put it. It's bad. It's bad. It hurts. It hurts me when I read it, But I know what's going to happen. This is 1,000 years ago,
right?
And essentially everything that happens there in this story leads to book 2, which you don't even meet the main character in this story. The main character is the narrator of this book. You meet him in book 2.
Right.
So he's a Japanese American boy who's going to have one of the villains of this story coming after him. And so the father, the master in that story, comes to him as a ghost and tells him this. Tells him, you're not human. You're actually an alien. So how I break the news to him like that is a little crazy, but it ends up in a conflict, a big fight, and then at the end, the climax to this book 2 is, well, because an enemy, one of the villains came to Earth, he now has a way to get to their home planet. He has a interstellar spaceship that's now on Earth that he can take. So book 3 will be, him getting home. Well, not home, but to his ancestral planet where he knows no one or nothing. And I'm going to have, I think I'm kind of got an idea of maybe taking the fight to the enemy, because as it is right now, the enemy, the villains in the story are a race of draconic demons, and they need to consume life force of other entities that they meet throughout the cosmos. Well, they've found this race of humanoids that generate enormous amounts of energy. It's kind of their religion / philosophy mixed with kind of their DNA, the way that their bodies work. They're still humanoids, but they produce energy. And so this race of draconic demons want to farm them. So they want to find their home planet. So kind of like Gargamel and the Smurfs, how Gargamel always wanted to find the Smurfs village, but they would always lead him on a wild goose chase to lose him, so he couldn't find home. Well, if the Lumithian is ever out in space and gets ambushed by the villains of the story, they can never go home again because they don't want to accidentally lead them back to their home planet. So a lot of tragedy in that, but that's kind of how the story structure works together.
So the demonic race are kind of vampires, really.
Well, okay, so they're draconic demons. They're a race of dragon people that were basically conquered by 3 demon brothers a millennia ago. Okay. So in the underworld, 3 demon brothers challenged the Lord of the Underworld, the devil himself, for supremacy. He basically flicked them out of the underworld to travel the cosmos in banishment, in exile. Right. And the thing about demons is, in order for them to maintain their demonic stature, they need to consume souls. So they have to travel the cosmos and consume civilizations of souls. Well, finally, they want to rest. They've done this for hundreds of thousands of years. They want to basically procreate and put themselves to rest. So they find this race of dragons, this humanoid bipedal dragon people. And so they conquer them and they merge with them, basically produce children. Now this hybrid race of draconic demons, in order to maintain their power, they need to now go do the same thing. And so they've been traveling the cosmos, destroying worlds and conquering people, and they can never be satiated because there's so many entities out there that are just weak and they don't provide enough power for them. Well, a single planet that is bathed in light, a planet called Lumethia, there's humanoids on that planet that produce this energy, and there's a whole thing with that as well. But they discovered them and they realized that they're the perfect power source for them. So they don't want to destroy them. They want to capture them. They want to put them in energy pods and absorb their energy, keep them alive.
Turn them into livestock.
If they want to farm them. Yeah. So they don't hate them. They don't regard them.
Right.
They want to consume them.
Right.
But keep them alive long enough to get as much from them as they can. So it's the ultimate disrespect. It's not you're my enemy and I want to destroy you. It's
your food.
Nah. You're basically food. But I'm going to keep you alive and consume you for as long as I can. So it is extremely evil. So so that's essentially what happens is the master of this in the book 1, he has to escape and he ends up on Earth and he procreates, and that is the birth of the samurai.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this. This is the same project.
Yes, he brings Bushido to
That's
Earth,
right. Yeah. Keep going.
So it propagates throughout Japanese history and culture and makes it to modern era. And you know, as time progresses, all of his progeny have all died off and there's only one left. And he isn't the best. He's not the worst. He's just the last. And so he comes to him in a ghost and sort of like imagine Jaga and Lion-O. When Jaga comes back to him and tells him, you need to lead now. Essentially that kind of a feel. So what I've done is I've tried to take every single influential 80s story that changed my life and had an effect on me and take a little story nugget from each one of those and put it in. There's a little Star Wars in there. Their weaponry is liquid metal swords, right? Their power system, they're not telekinetic, but they have a little bit of psychic power. They can perceive things a few seconds before they happen. So it makes them extremely powerful in combat. They're telepathic. They can communicate telepathically, but it does drain a lot of their energy. There's a lot of Dragon Ball in there. You know how Saiyan, they can only be Saiyan for a while until they run out of power, and then they got to eat some sensu beans. You know what I mean? They run out of juice, right?
Right.
So a lot of that stuff, a lot of it, and then it's obviously drawn in the style of Robotech and Macross. There's a ton of things from the 80s and early 90s that are all put into that story, and it's kind of a culmination of all the things that I loved growing up, put into one book, into manga format, manga story, to combat what's happening nowadays with storytelling. You know,
that's awesome. So this is basically a labor of love.
Absolute 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Guess
so
what?
Any old graybeard of my age or close to is going to see the artwork and go, hey, that looks familiar. And when they read the story, they're going to go, oh, fuck, I remember this. Right. This feels like something I've read before, but it's nothing like I've ever read before.
Right.
Because the story is completely unique.
Right.
It's like nothing. It isn't. It's built on similar story beats, but it has nothing to do with any previous story. It uses samurai. It uses, obviously combat with swords. A little bit of science fiction. There's a lot of stuff happening. A little demonic stuff, but not too much.
Right.
And a lot of violence. It is very violent.
Yeah. Well, we like this.
Well, 80s style anime was very violent. Characters could die.
Oh my god, that was one of the main appeals when I was a kid. Was just like, holy shit, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I wanted it to be so.
It's like Ninja Scroll and all those things. Like it gets dark. It touches the dark side of the human. And they're not afraid of showing a little nudity. Like even sometimes, there's some anime they show nudity, but they won't put nipples or
pubic hair.
Yeah. Or they don't even have a vagina. Like it's just it's just like a Barbie. Yeah.
I know, which always made me think, Scott, maybe you could speak to this. Okay, so you had like the anime and the manga women that were like the Barbie dolls, right? And just had like, no Pudani. And then you had the Nintendo games that almost always had some kind of vagina dentata. Do you know what I'm talking about? The evil beavers, right? And this happened so many times in so many NES games that I remember, like, me and my friends, we'd be like, "Oh, evil beaver!" You know, it would be like a vagina dentata with like a eyeball at the top and an eyelid, that, like, right where the clit would be. Right? It would be like, what? So it always made me think, like, are like Japanese dudes like not into the punani?
I don't think it is. I think it has to do with the fact that they can see horror in anything. They can see design and stuff in anything.
Yeah, I think
so. It's like saying, like, when you're and let's be honest, if you studied, or psychology or anything like that, human behavior, before you know it, you think it's gross. No type of thing.
Right.
Before you get to know it, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? Same thing for a girl when they see a penis for the first time. They go, what the fuck is that?
Right.
You know, it's something that you learn to you kind of learn to appreciate. You know, then you fall. You know, it's a thing that it's the same thing for different things. It's like the fear of holes. A lot of people have the fear of holes, and if you notice, those holes are kind of weird. They're kind of little vaginas too.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
it's also in Japanese.
And they go, and that's when they see a sponge. Sorry.
Also in Japanese culture too, showing kind of body parts and pornography of live action is censored.
I know.
It's pixelated.
Yeah.
And in cartoons, it is not. So the fact that it's a cartoon and it's animated, or that it's not real, there's less censorship for it.
But there's also the fact that it's
censored in detail, but it's not pixelated.
But the fact that it's not real, it's not a picture, it's not a real image. It also doesn't trigger exactly the same reaction for
same response.
Yeah.
But also, there is an art form called shunga art form, and it's basically woodblock artwork, like the first, I guess you could say, Japanese, adult artwork. And the style of artwork where you see the samurai, where they've got like
giant
really weird noses, and it's kind of sideways profile, and like.
So you're talking all about like the art that's like from the Edo period, or is this modern?
Like old.
Okay,
art,
yeah. Well, I mean, Hakusai did some pretty racy stuff, like the Dream of the Fisherman's Wife.
It's called shunga.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I remember there was a plot. There was a plot in a samurai movie, right? Like, this wasn't in the Zatoichi series, but one of the things I love about the old Chambara movies is that they would, I think, release them every 6 months, right? So, like, every 6 months you'd get like a new Zatoichi. There was a series called The Sleepy Eyes of Death with Nobori Kyoshiro, the son of the Black Mass, who is like half Japanese, half European. So he's like this Japanese dude who's walking around with red hair.
Right.
Which makes him easily identifiable and makes him also like an outcast.
But it's one of the things that they do. Like you do that in D&D, right? If you're having some kind of character, that character has I don't know, dragon traits. Well, there has to be a dragon trait that's always showing.
Right.
Like it's one of the things that you play in storytelling. Like it has to have something. Like like in one of the anime, I remember it's like the girl looks all normal, but she has a tail that she needs to hide. Get it? Or
yeah.
Or the ears, right? And she's wearing a hat because otherwise it's going to give her up, and people are not going to react well to it. So it's kind of like always that little different there. And it's one of the things that people are losing their shit with is the fact that, dude, I could go and go through like 3,000 people and pick the 100 people that are exactly looking like Brian. Like fucking people look alike, same size or something, or various size, but they look like Brian. They like exactly the same thing as Brian. They could vote the same fucking thing as Brian. You put them all in one fucking room, and they'll divide.
Of course,
because that one has a full beard. Those ones just kept the goatee.
There it is. I think I told you the story that I found really fascinating.
You fucking lost weight. He's skinnier than us.
Where?
We hate him.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that they touch with that shit. And I'm sorry, it's a common thing. It's like, I was that little chubby guy. They would pick on me until you go, sup, I'm here, I'm short, I'm stubby, and what's up?
Yes.
And then they just, it's
Then they back off.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like when you're trying to, it's the same thing with aliens. I wanted to touch to it again. Geiger. Everything is it's vaginas and dicks.
Oh yes.
Okay, and the guy has talked about it about the thing that usually children, when they grow up, they're traumatized by the sexual aspect of a body. Like a guy will be traumatized a little bit, but it's traumatized. It's a harsh way, but you get shocked would be the best way of saying. But it's a short length traumatization when you first see a vagina and you go, oh fuck. Or a girl when she sees a penis and goes, fuck, like, I have never, like, it's,
It's castration anxiety in children.
So the fear of the unknown. So now make that a monster.
Right.
So one of the things that they ripped a lot of freaking aliens on.
Yes.
Right? It's, dude, there's nothing more monstrous than giving you a very sexy babe that you want to screw, that you would, you want, and make her a monster. It's anything is that we take something that you like and we make it a monster, and the other way also works.
Yes.
And aliens, that's what it was. There was a lot of people in feminists going, it's a method against vagina, and so it's all hate about women. Look about the queen of the bitch and so on. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you pick the entire fucking story and you leave your little bias aside, you can't. It's the good mother and the bad mother. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as the
nurturing
Snow White.
Right.
So you have the evil stepmom, and you have the evil mom, and you have the good mom. You have the protector. She's not perfect. She's this, but when it comes to the fact that she needs to be protector, taking care of the guys, because it shows a bit in the first one, not as much. It's very more dominant in the second one, that aspect.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
The queen comes in the second one. Let's be honest, but that's what it was. But the thing is, if you look at all the things, it's all the stuff that but I'm giving you an awkward feel out of it.
Right.
And that's why, when you see horror movies or you see a lot of sci-fi, a lot of buildings, stuff like that, come on.
Sure.
A lot of them are weird tits, dicks, and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But the thing that you learn in art is I can just put a cylinder and you will think about a dick, even if I don't draw one. So it's
right. There's this great scene in Why the Last Man. I don't know if you ever read that comic. It's about, there was a TV show. I never saw it. It was supposedly woke, and it like bombed after one season. It's about a virus that kills all of the men on the planet, except there's this one guy, and he pretends to be female, and he can actually kind of pull it off, and he's like this is like in Washington D.C., right? And he's like, so where's everybody going? And this woman's like, where do you think? And it's the Washington Monument. This giant cock.
Yeah, but they did the same.
They all gather.
They did the same thing in Rick and Morty when they did the evil sperm from space. They're all heading down. They're all gonna go the Grand Canyon. Why would they go? Seriously? Yeah.
Yeah. Or well, one of the things I love about Japanese culture too is that in those cases you're talking about a phallic symbols, right?
Yep.
In Japan, they'll just it's not a phallic symbol, it's a phallus. Like it's an actual dick, a giant dick that are marching through the street.
Yeah, but festivals where they carry giant penises on their
that's my
point.
On
litter down to the town square.
But that's my point, though. It's as I was trying to say before, is the fact that, dude, you don't even need to put dicks that people see dicks. So it's not just about pushing it; it's about the fact that people want them.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Like as humans, we see ourselves everywhere, right?
Dude, you could take a picture of an eye in close up, and people would think it's a vajayjay.
Yeah, I could imagine that. But I'm thinking about, like, how you could look at the clouds, you see a face. You look at the moon, you see a face. You look into the grain of wood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you look at marble. You'll see a face in there. We try to attract everything to face. That's why cars look like it's a fucking face. Every vehicle looks like it has a face. That's why they did the Cars story. It was based on that little gimmick. That, dude, when you go into design, because it's one of the things I did when I was in high school. Like I participated in one of those design for Ford, I think it was back in the day, competition. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things that you learn when you study like car design and stuff like that, like the basic of it is it has to have a face. Like it's one of the first things they tell you. The car has to have a face.
That's interesting.
So if you look at it, like they actually have a face. The two spotlight. If you decide to put one spotlight in front and ruin the face aspect of it, why do you think all cars are the same?
It's a really good point. That's a really good point. And it's
like, do we understand that one full headlight in front would be way? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, now I'm seeing cars with eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that are arched down. So you look in your rear view mirror and you see these eyes, and that they're looking very angry because, of course, the eyebrows being knit creates the impression of anger.
When Christine came out, I don't know if it was before or after, but there was a movie. I just can't remember the title of the movie, but it's the one where I think it was a Challenger or a Charger, and they wanted it to look evil, so he took a sledgehammer right in the freaking middle of the front. Yeah. And it just gave it a freaking mean look, and it looks like a freaking face. Even more, and that's how they did it. One sledgehammer in the middle. Ba-dum.
In the car, they actually cut the roof off and lowered the roof, which kind of made it look more sinister too. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, dudes, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to bug out to go over to Pops.
It's your time on Pops, and anyways, we're getting close to the 2 hour. We like to stop it around 9 something, 9:15. Okay. So, pitch your book again one more time. Tell people to go back your thing and where they can find you.
Go to Zoop. Link should be somewhere in the chat, and
it's in the chat.
Check out the 6-Gun Gorilla Omnibus. It's issues 1 through 8 plus. Brand spanking new 9 and 10 added into one volume, so it's the complete Long Days of Vengeance arc in one book. This is the book that people have been asking for, the ones that they've been waiting for, and it shall soon be here. You can catch me on the Twitter at Brian Christgau. Also check out my YouTube channel, which is also my name. And check us out on Tuesdays. We do a CG Horror Movie Club, where we basically agree to watch a horror movie before, and we get together and then talk about it, diss it, praise it, depending on the quality or the lack thereof of the film. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on, fellas, and thank you so much for this beautiful art. It just, I'm digging it. The bullet going through and ding. That's fucking genius, dude. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, there goes his hat.
So, have a good night, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow during the Inkster Art Show. Well, we'll all be working on our projects.
Peace and love, everybody.
Have a good one. And go see Pop's ChromCon.
Yeah, ChromCon. It's the ChromCon. You go over to check out the ChromCon.
And Doodle and Chill was brought to you by...
I see that story first. I feel that story first. I know those people first. When I put them down, they've already lived. And I put them down as I'd like them to live on those pages. My stories are very sincere. My stories are people's stories. And there's elements in my story